Over the summer, we've had several folks that went overseas on missions to Thailand and China and other places of the world, and we've got to hear a few of their stories. And this morning, I've asked Dillon to come and share what God was doing in his life in Thailand. He's been back for several weeks, but we finally have an opportunity to hear from him, and hopefully next week we'll hear from Nicole on what God did in her life in China. And so I'm going to invite Dillon to come, share, and then afterward we'll pray and dive into the Word.
Hello? Hello? Okay. Yeah, so like Sam said, this summer I spent 6 weeks in Thailand, and I was able to live in basically a leprosy community where over there's a hospital that treated people that had leprosy. And I guess afterwards they just kind of moved out and built their own community around it. And so there, I was just able to spend time with them and live there. And like the driving purpose behind the trip was incarnational ministry, which means basically living among the people and learning from them, living with them, and just really trying to build the relationships instead of going and being like, oh, I'm going to build you a house, I'm going to build you a church, whatever, which is still good. But like the purpose of this trip was a little bit different, was just to go to build the relationships. So I think for me, growing up, like going to church here, like in America, whenever I'm able to, interact with people, Christians from abroad, it just really opens my eyes. I think every time I do that, I just am reminded, like, us here, we're not representative of Christianity. We're only part of it. And then there are believers around the world that also have similar stories, but also many different stories where we can learn from each other and grow and just see how beautiful it is just to even know that we are unified by Christ, even though we come from different places. And I think two ways God really opened my eyes is to do with the incarnational ministry piece was the first one. Like, I think it just clicked. Like, I don't know, I always knew like this, but I don't know, it just clicked. I guess Jesus was the ultimate incarnational missionary. Like we're talking for us here, like to go live among people in other countries and whatnot, but Jesus came down from heaven to live among us. Like we always say that, right? Like, oh, God came down from heaven, lived among us, you know, all that stuff. But like, it didn't really click for me. Like, he left everything and came down here, and became one of us, so we could connect with him on a different level. He could connect with us on a different level. I think this summer, like, really showed me like the beauty in that, like how powerful that is. Like, I don't speak Thai, obviously, but even being there, like I know I was living with my, I guess, auntie or whatever, I don't know, my host, and we would sit there at night and watch Thai dramas, and like there's no English subtitles. I have no idea what's going on. It just looks like ridiculous, and like she's laughing or whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, sure, cool, like, oh yeah, I like that guy too, okay. So she'll try to talk to me. It'll be like, I don't even know if she's even talking about the drama or like trying to tell me something, but it'll be like 10 minutes of just her trying to convey something and me not really understanding. Like, me and my roommate would be like, what's she trying to say? I don't know. But like, even in that, we were able to build a deeper connection. Just because we were able to just kind of spend time together. Like, I only got to spend the last week I was in Thailand with her, like living in her house. But before that, like, we knew each other, but we just didn't spend like extensive amount of time together. But even in that 1 week, I saw like how deeper our relationship went. So yeah, it's just clicking for me, just like, yeah, Jesus was the ultimate incarnational missionary, and like, what does that mean for me, I guess? And what was the second thing? I don't remember. Oh yes, sorry. I prepared this like a month ago, and like I just never came to share, so I just kind of have to remember. But yeah, the second thing, I think, so where I lived was among the urban poor, and yeah, the people that built the community, and like these, especially because the people had leprosy, and like also their among the urban poor, that the whole society basically just kind of pushes them to the side. Like, if you didn't know that community was there, you would never see it. There's like this small road, and it's at the end of that road. And I think just seeing that and realizing, just like really broke my heart. Just to see like these people are the same. They're Thai people, but then like culture kind of pushes them to the side. But also just to see for the people that are Christians, like how faithful they are to God. Like, I know this one guy we met when he was younger, he wanted to be a surgeon, but then he got leprosy, so the medical schools wouldn't accept him. And after that, he's like, oh, I guess I'll go be a monk. But the temple wouldn't accept him either because he had leprosy. And through that, like, he went through a lot of difficult times, but even afterward now, he's like an elder in his church, and he's like one of the strongest Christians I've met. And like to see their faith in Thailand is like, makes me wonder like, what am I doing, right? I know one night we had the opportunity to join one of their prayer meetings. And so basically the church is basically all elderly people, 70, 80 like years old. And their prayer meeting goes from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's like, I don't do that for like school. I don't do that for anything. Like that's when I sleep. So like, I was like, are you serious? Like when they first told us, like, are you seriously? Like, is that what was happening? Everybody was so excited. They do this every 3 months, and they look forward to it so much. Because all night they're able to worship, to pray, to share the word with each other. And for them, it's not easy. It's a struggle. Like you can imagine, like if you're like 80 years old trying to pull an all-nighter, like I could see it in their face. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Like once like 2 or 3 a.m. hit, but still they do it because the God we worship deserves it. And that's like what drives them. And I can see that every interaction I had with them, so powerful. Really just like, again, made me question, like, yeah, what am I doing? So, yeah, I think one of the big questions for my team in Bangkok was to ask ourselves in every situation, like, how can it be good news right now? It's like whether we're there living in the community or even like if we're just going around Bangkok with our team, like what's it mean to be good news? And I think that's the one question that's really stuck with me when I came back here, to remember like the incarnational ministry, like living with the people, then also to see like other people's faith and like, do I represent that well? Do I represent Christ as well as they do? Or like, when people see me, do they see something different? Like, what is good news for people? I think that's a question I still have to continue to ask myself like every day. But yeah, I think through this experience, God's just really opened my eyes and like to show more of himself to me and like what he's been doing overseas and like how it can translate here. I'm still figuring it out. So if I want to talk about it, I'm definitely open to it. I like to talk about things. So, but yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you. Dillon's organizing an all-night prayer meeting for those of you guys. He's done it. You guys can do it as well. Let me know how it goes.